Hello, what is up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video about my journey with Mounjaro and my weight loss and all of the things. First of all, I just want to apologize. If this gets blurry, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Sometimes it shifts its focus, sometimes it goes blurry and then comes back into focus. When I'm talking, I'm looking straight down the lens and I'm not really paying attention to the little screen. So I'm not really looking at myself. So I can't really see if it's like blurry or not, and I don't want to get distracted. So I do apologize if this is not the best quality. I really need to sit with my camera and figure things out. But anyway, here we are. So in my last video, I shared with you guys that I was in a plateau. I've been in a plateau I was in a plateau for 3 weeks. I'm not anymore though. In the last week, I broke my plateau. But essentially, I was in a plateau for 3 weeks. I was stuck at 73 kilos. Wasn't losing any weight. I was still noticing big improvements in other areas with my health. My inflammation was reduced. My clothes were still getting loose. My appetite was being suppressed, which was great. I wasn't like overeating and I wasn't really having any kind of cravings or anything like that. So I was still noticing incredible results. But as for the scales, they weren't shifting. And in the last week, I've really been focusing on a few things, and these things have completely shifted the scales. So much so, I've lost 1 kilo of weight in the last week, which is just absolutely incredible. Now, I have my phone. As always, I have been taking notes. On my journey so far, so that I can keep you guys updated, because you guys are loving this style of video that I've been doing. I've been getting lots of comments, lots of views, and I love that. I appreciate that. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about or anything you want me to jump on and vlog, then let me know, because I love giving you guys a sense of direction. I know that this journey can be quite daunting and overwhelming before you even start your weight loss journey, especially with the injections. And for me, I watched so many videos before I committed of just everyday women like me. I watched videos, I was listening to all the things, and then it really helped my decision to go all in on this journey and get myself on the injections. So I hope that this really helps you. Okay, so let's talk about the last week. Let's talk about what has allowed me to break this plateau and get me out of this funk. Because 3 weeks is quite a long time to be plateaued on like a weight. It's a fair amount of time, especially when it feels like you're doing all the things. And for me, it felt like I was doing all of the things. Like I was taking my injections, watching what I was eating, like doing my calories, on my meal plan, moving my body. But I just made a few tiny tweaks, and here we are. So what I will say is I increased my dosage. The first week that I increased my dosage, so I went from a 2.5 milligram on Mounjaro to a 5 milligram. That week I was still in a plateau. Even after increasing for a week, still in a plateau. Nothing had happened. No, my weight wasn't shifting. The second week of being on the 5 milligrams, that's when the weight loss started to kick in. And so for me, I know a lot of people sometimes just stick on a lower dose, or they stay on a one dosage, like they don't go up and they don't go down. For me at this point, I am wanting to increase. I haven't had any side effects. I barely get any nausea. So for me, I'm wanting to increase my dosage as time goes on and progress. Like my doctor and I have a plan to progress my dosage, and we'll continue to do that because again, that really helped me get out of my plateau. I think if I would have stayed on a lower dosage, I would still be in my plateau. I take a shot every time I say plateau, honestly. How annoying. How annoying. One of the things that I did which helped me so much was actually going back into ChatGPT. So if you don't know, I utilize ChatGPT for all of my meal plans. I literally put into ChatGPT my macros, how much fiber I want to have, how much protein I want to have, and how many calories I want to be aiming for. And then it gives me a meal plan every single week. It's an absolute godsend, absolute godsend. And so what I did was I actually went into ChatGPT, and yes, I had my meal plans and I knew what I was eating, But one day I decided to actually measure everything and figure out what I was eating and how I was eating it. And I was really shocked. So this day I got my chat GPT up and I was like, can you help me calculate my macros? Can you please tell me how many calories I'm gonna eat for the day, my protein and my fiber intake, and I'm just gonna add everything as I'm eating in real time. So I was adding in breakfast, I was adding in lunch, added in my snack, added in my dinner. At the end of the day, it told me I was supposed to be having 1,500 calories a day. Guys, I was only getting 1,100 calories. 1,100 calories. Now, that's not great. I strength train like 4 or 5 times a week. I go to boxing and I go to tennis on top of that. And I get in 7,000 steps a day. I need to be eating. I need to be hitting my protein goals. I need to be hitting my fiber. Not only was I getting only 1,100 calories in, my protein, I was only getting 80 grams of protein. My fiber, let's not even talk about my fiber. I was getting like 18 grams of fiber. My goal is for 25 grams to 30 grams. So what I think was happening was my body was in like shock. My body thought that it was starving, that I was starving it, and it was holding on to every tiny bit of weight. No wonder why it didn't want to release any more weight, because it thought that it was never going to eat again, because I was literally on the lowest amount of calories, and not intentionally. I thought I was hitting my 1,500 calories. It wasn't until I was actually measuring things, because whilst yes, I have my meal plan, I kind of free pour things. I'm like, I have an idea. I'm like, oh, this is how much this is. And I just guesstimate a lot of it. And I free pour things. No, it wasn't until I actually was going through it and measuring everything that I was like, oh shit, I'm definitely not eating enough. So no wonder why she was not losing any weight, because she thought she was being starved. So that wasn't great at all. So now we've gone back to the drawing board, and now I'm making sure that I am hitting my calories as best as I can. Now, what I've noticed with increasing my dosage is that I don't have an appetite. I eat things and I get probably 3/4 of the way through, and everything's now calculated and measured, but I get 3/4 of the way through and my body just says, no more. Like my stomach is like, do not put another spoonful in this body. Like no more. It rejects it. The thought just makes me go, ugh. And so it is quite hard still to hit those macros when I'm not even finishing my meals. And yeah, I don't have like hunger cravings too, if you know what I mean. Like I eat at certain times now. I eat in the morning between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. I eat about 12 p.m. for lunch. I'll have an afternoon snack, you know, my apple. I talk about my apple fiber. I'll have an apple at about 3 p.m. and then dinner is about 6 p.m. So I have my times that I eat, and that keeps me tapped into like, oh, I need to eat, because again, with the high dosage that I'm on, compared to the 2.5, I don't actually really get hunger cues. So my body's not like, oh, we're hungry, or oh, we're thirsty. So I make sure that I eat at set times. But yeah, I definitely had to go back to the drawing board and just really calculate everything again properly, because I was so under eating, which wasn't great. Something that I did is I actually rested a lot more in the last week. So I was resting a lot more. I didn't get to the gym as often. My daughter was really unwell. She was in and out of hospital. And so I wasn't able to get to the gym like at all. I think I got 1 gym session in within the last week. And I was just having a lot of afternoon naps because she was so unwell. We were in emergency till late at night. There would be times when she would come in and wake me up. So what I would do is I would have afternoon naps and I would just let my body rest and recover. And I think that really helped as well to releasing a lot of the weight. It's almost like my nervous system was regulated enough to like let it go, and it wasn't in that fight or flight where it's like holding on to everything. The one thing that I did really focus on within the last week, yes, I rested, but I was also getting my steps in. So again, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentionally. I mean, when we're at the hospital, walking into the hospital, walking out of the hospital, walking around, she was going to get checks and things like that. I had to follow her, you know, behind her hospital bed. And so I was getting my steps in quite naturally. It wasn't something that I was having to force, but the movement, even though I wasn't training at the gym, I was still like moving and I was still getting my steps in. Now, the last thing that I did, I definitely think had a huge, profound effect on my health. The thing that I did is I cut out any dairy and any gluten. Now, not completely from the point of like where I was restricting. Like, don't get me wrong, I literally had pizza on the weekend and that's, you know, got gluten in the base. So I wasn't cutting it out from restricting, and I had an ice cream yesterday which had dairy in it. So I'm definitely not restricting myself. Like, if I'm craving something and it's a craving that persists, I will absolutely give into it. But I don't eat as much anymore. Like, I just have a little bit and I feel very satisfied. So I'm definitely not, you know, cutting things out like that. But as a whole, when I'm calculating my meal plans for the week, I'm telling ChatGPT, don't include any dairy in this and don't include any gluten. What I was noticing is gluten and dairy, they're inflammatories. So they will inflame our bodies. They're known as inflammatories, and they aren't healthy, right? Let's be real about it. Anything dairy is meant for baby cows, and gluten is man-made and it's often comes in packages and stuff like that. I'm leaning more away from that with being on this journey. I'm on this journey for a reason, and I don't want to take it for granted, and I don't want to take it lightly. These medications that I'm taking are not get out of jail free card. Like, a lot of people say, oh, it's an easy way out. It's not an easy way out for me, let me tell you. I've been moving my body and I've been really on top of my nutrition. The reason why is because eventually I will get off of these medications and I want to be able to sustain my results. I don't want to still be eating crap and junk and having all of these cravings. So yes, whilst the medication blocks a lot of the sugar cravings and the junk food cravings and all of that, I know that if I really fuel my body correctly, eventually over time, when I quit the medications, it just won't crave it anymore because it won't be used to having that stuff in my system. So for me, I've been really cutting out anything gluten-based, anything that comes from a package. And I've been leaning more towards seafood, leaning more towards whole foods. I've been having a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, apples, things like that. And I've been absolutely avoiding dairy. If I want a yogurt, I'll have like a coconut yogurt with a protein in it. I've been really making sure that I'm getting less and less away from the junk, less and less away from all the packaged foods, because again, this needs to be sustainable for me. I'm not investing all this time and effort and money. Like, these injections aren't cheap by any means. I'm not investing all of this into the injections only to get 6 months down the road and put all of the weight back on and go back to bad habits when I stop taking these injections. I'm doing this to create a whole new lifestyle. So I'm fully committed. I'm committed to the movement, and I'm committed to making sure that I am steering away from the processed foods. But like I said, there's no restriction with that. I don't get cravings for stuff very, very rarely. In the last 7 weeks I've been on this injection, I've only had ice cream twice, which is huge because honestly I would have ice cream every single weekend. I've only had ice cream twice in 7 weeks because again, I just craved it. And we've had pizza, which is what we do on our Friday night. We have a family Friday night pizza night where we order pizzas, we put a movie on, and it's really wholesome. We do that still. I still love pizza, but at the same time, I don't feel like I need to eat as much. But also too, what I will say is when I did have ice cream yesterday, I felt like ass. Like, I felt so unwell after having ice cream, to the point now I'm kind of turned off it and I don't think I want another ice cream again. But that's the whole point. It's completely changing the taste buds, because our taste buds do change over time. So they do change, and what you fuel your body with, that's what it becomes familiar with, and that's what it craves. So again, I've cut out that stuff for now. I'm just trying to avoid it. Things will come up where they'll have gluten and dairy in it. It's no big deal. But when I'm creating my meal plans with ChatGPT, I'm saying don't put this in it, don't put that in it. And we find other alternate solutions. So all these little small tweaks have really helped me. Literally, 1 kilo in a week is ginormous. It's huge. It was completely unexpected. But I just want to like remind you guys that this is your journey and everyone's going to be different. And so take what you will from this video and leave the rest behind. Like, if there's something that resonates and you want to try it, perfect. If you're like, oh no, this is not for me, totally cool. No problems at all. But anyway, I hope you have an amazing day, night, whatever you're doing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.